Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 67 of the Pod of War Gamescast. I am your host, EOF Gizmo, joined this week, as I always am, by Massive Das Chris McGelly.
Hello, everyone.
And the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. CW Lanky.
Hello.
Obviously, boys, I still have a cough, so I apologise if I break into sound at any point through this podcast. Luckily, it's not a very Dave-heavy podcast. So let's start off this week, as we start every single Gamescast, with the rigmarole. Let's start with what we bought, what we've been playing. Craigo, I think it's your time to shine.
Right. So I finished Dead Space, boys. I think last episode, God knows when that was. I think I was only an hour in.
It was about a week and a half ago.
Gave my first impressions. I was hyping it up, and it delivers, boys. That first hour is pretty much my experience for. I think it took me about 15 hours to finish. But I did do all of the side quests. There's only like 2 or 3. But they do involve quite a bit of like going backwards and forwards. I did spend my time quite a lot as well, just kind of exploring, because the ship's just so cool, and the way they've done it, where getting around the ship is very easy, and it sounds like it's much easier than it was in the first game as well.
It
was. So yeah, I mean, it's a great game. I would definitely recommend it to anyone that's curious. It's great shit. I think I got the normal ending. I didn't bother to go back and try and get the other ending. I don't know if you had to like jump through a lot of hoops to get it, or if it's just a simple thing. But I'll just watch it on YouTube. I mean, and hopefully this game does well, and hopefully they keep going with this, and they either remake 2 or make their own one.
I think
maybe they do
2. I think you'll get 2, and I think 3 will get remade, and they'll change all the shit that people hated about 3.
Yeah. I mean, they could do the Capcom thing that they're kind of doing Resident Evil, where they do like a remake, then a new one, then a remake, then a new one, right?
Well, in EA, we trust at the minute, right? Like, all jokes aside, like they're kind of
exactly.
They're kind of kicking ass at the moment, big EA.
Yeah, and they still got fucking the biggest game to come, really. Which is
arguably
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Madden 24.
Hell yeah.
EA Sports FC.
Right.
It's all coming, Pengy. It's all coming. So I finished that, and I was kind of like, oh, what do I start next? And I ended up installing, because it's just come to Game Pass, Shadow Warrior 3 Definitive Edition.
Fun ass games, the Shadow Warrior games. Fun ass games.
I don't know what's definitive about it. But that's the version that's on Game Pass. I think that's the only reason I could actually see on True Achievements as well. So I don't know if that's the only like version that's actually on Xbox now.
Wasn't it PS Plus launch /
yes.
PS exclusive for a while?
Yeah, I feel like it was, because it's on Game Pass now. And I feel like it definitely was on PS Plus, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it launched on PS Plus.
Both.
I think it was one of those games that was like, oh, we're launching it with PS Plus.
Yeah, it's very strange. And it's kind of like a budget, like Aldi Lidl version of Doom Eternal, mixed with. Can you guys remember that Bulletstorm game from the 360?
I can.
Yeah.
Which is People Can Fly made that. There's people that made Gears Judgment on it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a mix between those 2 games.
Yeah, it's Asian Duke Nukem Forever is how I describe.
Yeah, you play as like I guess like an American Asian guy. Very annoying main character. I've only played like an hour, but already very annoying main character. It defaults on the quality mode, which I guess is the like resolution mode. And within 10 seconds, I was like, "This is framey as fuck. I need to change something." So I put it on performance mode, and it's better, but still not like it doesn't. It's not smooth. Let's say, it's it's what you could expect from, I guess, this level of game. There is a story.
Just about.
Couldn't tell you what it is though. Something to do with a dragon and a mask. I will say the cinematics are really fucking pretty. Like, I feel like this team had a budget. And they were like, where are we going to put this budget? And I feel like whoever was obviously in charge of the cinematics and was, trying to negotiate as much of the budget as possible, did a very good job of that, because they do look very pretty. But the actual gameplay is just weirdly so fun. Like it's very Doom Eternal-y. It's that kind of first-person shooter, but you're constantly on the move, constantly like kind of hoarding enemies behind you and then turning and shooting them, and you can kind of like force push them into spikes and stuff like that. And it has the Doom Eternal like chain where you can latch onto an enemy and then drag yourself to them. And it's just a really like weird, just fun game. Despite all of its kind of problems that it has. I don't think it's very long. I think I had a look, it's like 5.5 hours, which is probably like what this game needs to be.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
it's probably perfect for it. So I played an hour, but I did the tutorial, the first mission, and I'm probably like halfway through the second mission. I've probably killed like 300 bad guys already. It's just constant action, constant like moving forward. It's got quite a lot of pace to it. Like even when you're not fighting, it has like these little platforming sections where you're doing like wall running and stuff like that. And you're constantly like it's got constantly like moving forward. Like you're not hanging around at all. Yeah, and it's weirdly fun. So it's one that if you have PS Plus or Game Pass, and you want something that's kind of quick and easy, and just a bit of fun to play, I would definitely recommend this from what I've played so far. And I think it's throwing achievements at me pretty fast. So I think it's going to be quite an easy completion as well. So it might be one that it might actually be my first completion of the year, depending on how
Oh,
hard they all are. So I'm enjoying that. And then, boys, the shock of 2023 has already happened because I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter the last few weeks, as you do.
Mhm.
And that is the perfect like podcast game. Yeah, you have you're playing your Monster Hunter, you're murdering the shit out of these poor monsters. You're listening to a podcast in the background. I'm listening to a lot of Jeff Grubb and Mike Benatti doing their top 100s or their last Nintendos, the Game Master decides. And I was looking at the Switch, and obviously we did the Switch episode last time, didn't we?
We did.
Mhm.
About the Direct, and I was like, I really don't want to sell this thing because I like it. And I was like, let's give it a go, boys. Let's give it a good try. So the Switch has been turned on, and I've been playing quite a bit of Metroid Dread. I think my save is like 4 or 5 hours in at the moment.
Nice.
I think I've unlocked like 4 of the areas. I don't know how many there are in total. Got quite a lot of the abilities, and I'm quite enjoying it so far. Definitely has its like challenging moments. There's times when it all clicks and you're like, oh, this is great shit, and there's times when it's just like you feel like you're beating your head against a brick wall a bit. You're like, oh, I just let me progress. Just I don't want to keep going. I keep retrying this. Done a few of the boss fights. I want to say 2 or 3 of the main boss fights, and I've defeated I think 3 or 4 of the ME guys, who are kind of like the indestructible robots that you have
Mhm.
to kind of like get past their zones. Which again, like sometimes you'll be doing these zones with the MEs, and sometimes like the tension of it is great and you're moving really fast, and sometimes you're like you've died like 6 times in a row at the start, and you're like, oh, I just want to just let me through the fucking zone. But it's good. It looks really good on the Switch, especially playing on like the OLED. Looks great. The colors really pop. The environments are really good. The music's pretty good as well. So I'm enjoying that. The only real gripe is I'm not a big fan of the controls. Why on earth they don't use the right analog stick to aim? I don't get it. It's bizarre to me. Why I have to like move with the left analog stick, then hold a bumper button, and then aim with the left analog stick, and then if I want to fire a rocket, I've got to hold 2 bumper buttons and then aim with the left, and the right analog stick's just there. It's doing nothing. It's screaming out to me, Dave. My thumb's hovering over it. I want to just use this fucking analog stick, but for some reason they decided against that. Especially as well because like obviously the Switch has triggers, like everything else does nowadays. And you're like, I want to just fire the guns with the triggers, not the Y button. Why can't I just use the
What do
triggers like
you know, Craigo? What do
like
you
every
know?
other game? That'd be great, right? So I feel like there's some really interesting choice is with the controls in that game. Especially, one of the abilities I've just got the speed booster
Yeah.
Oh,
pack
you're in more
thingy.
platform. Yeah.
No, I've got the
Oh.
morph ball, but there's you get the speed boost,
Yeah,
so
you
you
can
can
like
be running along.
like lightning spark thing. I can't remember what it's called in the new one.
Yeah, it's just okay. I just think as being playing some Prime, you have a speed boost when you're in the morph ball. So
No, it's like you have to use it to get certain places in Super Metroid and
Mm.
Fusion. I think it's called the
Yeah, you
Shine
basically
Spark,
got.
to be honest. But I
Yeah,
don't
Yeah,
you've
know.
got
yeah.
to break through walls a bit, and then you can either be like running really fast, or you can like stop and aim and then launch yourself. The controls for that are absolutely dreadful. Like it's so weirdly done. It takes me so many attempts just to like do it. But other than that, I'm enjoying it. And this could be the spark of the big Switch comeback, boys, which is exciting, right?
Yeah, I think
It is.
the Switch for someone like you as well. There is actually quite a lot on there for someone who hasn't played every game that's ever come out. So like for you to play the Metroid Dread and be like, okay, well you can sell that and you can sell Kirby and Triangle Strategy, and then you can use that to buy Metroid Prime, which is definitely way more of a Craig game. Like it's way more of a Craig game. It's literally a twin stick shooter adventure game. So like,
Wait, Dave, I get to use the other stick.
oh yeah, they had to add it.
Oh, thank God.
This is the third time they've released this game, but they finally added it in this version. You can use the right stick to aim. But
Do you reckon the next 2D Metroid game they can
oh,
they can have
absolutely
that?
not. Not a
That'd be
chance.
great, right?
Not a chance. But yeah, it's fascinating for like say for someone like you, especially because you do have access to all these old games now. If you want to hit the 35 quid for the year shenanigans, and be like, okay, well I can now play eventually Metroid Fusion, which is just a even scarier version of Dread, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm glad to hear the Switch has lived on because it's always nice to have two platforms to talk about on a podcast, Craig.
Oh yeah.
If nothing else. But yes, is that all you've bought and played? You've not added anything. You've not done anything
No,
more
I've not bought
shenanigans.
anything. No, not bought anything.
That's fair. So before my voice runs out, we'll do me quickly, and then we'll get on to the biggest of dogs, the doggest of bigs. That is Pengy. So in terms of purchased, obviously off camera we were talking about. I've had an absolute purge of my game collection. I've started this anyway, and I'm about £800 up purely on selling Wii U games, which is mental, to be honest with you. So I've spent 40-ish pounds of that, Craigo. And for £30, which is my famous PlayStation 5 number, I have bought God of War Ragnarok. So £30, I think that's fair. And then I picked up KO the Kangaroo, which is a
Yes.
platformer from the Dreamcast era where you play as a kangaroo with boxing gloves. Me and my girlfriend wanted to play it. It was 15 quid. I was like, yeah, go on then.
I'm glad someone's supporting the Dreamcast still, Dave.
The Dreamcast has always lived on in my life, Craig, as you know. But
Because I remember trying to get Chris to buy this and getting nowhere.
well, it looks quite good. It looks like an action platformer. It's got a relatively straightforward platinum. Like it seems like a fun 8 to 10 hour game. And like I said, I support if you can put a game on the Dreamcast, I'm gonna buy it. So yeah, so that's my two purchases. I think since we did the Nintendo episode was the last episode we did, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I've been playing Metroid Prime. Game is unreal. Like let's be serious now. Like Metroid Prime is the best game I'm going to play this year. Like I'm convinced it's the best game I'm going to play this year. No matter how good Tears of the Kingdom is, or Jedi, or whatever, Metroid Prime is probably the best game I'm going to play this year. But yeah, it's a great game. I'm about 6 hours in. Not that far from the end, I don't think. I think I've got sorry, maybe about 4 hours to go. I've just started the awful end of game collectathon thing it does that Nintendo did on the GameCube. So you have to go back and get some things. But again, when you know where you're going, it's not too bad. So loving that. I've finally, Chris and Craig, done something madness here, and I've gone back to fucking Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice.
And once you get past the tutorial bits, it's actually pretty fun. So I mean, we've complained on this podcast before about how boring it is, and it really is. That first 2 hours is boring, so boring. But now I've got some more weapons, and I'm upgrading stuff, and I'm fighting some bigger dudes, and I'm like, okay. And the story's always good in Horizon. I'm like, okay, it's starting to go places now. I'm liking where this is swimming, Craigo. I'm liking where this
And
is
you
swimming.
can swim now as well. So
And you
there
can
you
swim,
go.
and it looks absolutely ludicrously good on PS5. There's been some more patches. That's good. So really looking forward to getting to that. Obviously, the Burning Shores DLC comes out in April, so I wanted to get the platinum for Forbidden West done before I got to that. Obviously, before I start God of War Ragnarok, 'cause obviously they're similar games. I make that joke every single time we talk about PlayStation. You know where I stand. And on the box, I've been playing some more Monster Hunter Rise with Krager, a little bit on my own. Still loving that game. Like it's an addictive motherfuck. Um, yeah, haven't really gone back to Hi-Fi Rush yet, but I think it's because of the nature of the fact that it's a rhythm game. I really want to sit down and play it, and I've been very busy for the last 2 weeks. I haven't had the chance to sit there. I've obviously been sick. I think I was sick for the week after we recorded the last podcast. So like I haven't had a chance to sit there, put some like headphones in and play that game. I know I will get to it eventually because again it's a
Yeah, it's
Warcraft.
very much a like sit down,
Concentration
like not
game.
in
Yeah.
party chat,
Not in a
with your
podcast. Like
with
yeah.
a nice like pair of headphones on, definitely.
Yeah, so that's one I will get to eventually. But yeah, that's it for the Xbox. And as for the Steam Deck, I'm still plugging away on Trials in the Sky. I think I'm now like 30 hours in. Still the best RPG I've played in ages. It's crazy. Got 2 more test levels of Portal to do. Test chambers, which is what the levels are called, Craig. And then I will have done Portal 2, which will take me to my second fully completed Steam Deck game, which will have gone over Chris's Steam Deck rotor, I believe. And then we've talked about it about 4 times on this podcast. I want to start getting into the Half-Life games because it's the biggest
I was
blotch
going to say
in Pod
because
of War.
obviously you did, and Craig bringing up Jeff Grubb's like top 100 thing. You did a top 100. I did a top 100. We've both got Portal. Like I can't remember exactly where it's to in the top. Like we've both got Portal in the list. Like Half-Life, Alex, we've talked about as like one of the most wanted like ports to PSVR. 2, yeah, we've barely played Half-Life series.
Yeah, Half-Life's funny because I think for me, because obviously we've talked about before that I'm an absolute pussy-ass bitch, so I think it looks too scary. And I think that was my problem with it at the time. Obviously now I've played, it's not scary at all. It's just got atmosphere, right? But like at the time, I was probably like, oh, the zombies and stuff. Like maybe not. Whereas now, like I've seen that game, so many bits of that game, and I'm like, well, everyone tells me it's this great game. Like the Steam Deck ports are really good. So I'm like, well, I might as well play it. Like I have the Steam Deck, I have the game, so like that's what I want to get it to. Like you said then, Half-Life Alex is like almost the golden unicorn for PSVR 2 for me. Like it's one of those that if they were like, hey, it's coming in October, it would really bump up my interest in PSVR 2, which is already pretty high. But like Half-Life Alex, I'd be like, oh, okay, right, let me play these 4 games first, and then let's have a chat. But yes, that's the next Steam Deck. I'm still loving the Steam Deck. I know we joke about Chris's time with the Steam Deck on the pod, but like for me, genuinely, I think it's one of the best pieces of kit I've ever purchased, especially because we've been playing quite a lot of Switch recently. Like the Switch feels like a toy, a plasticky, tiny little toy compared to the Steam Deck. Like if the Switch felt like the Steam Deck, I would only play on Nintendo because it's big sticks, like comfortable, weighty, lovely screen, like lovely quality graphics. Like I just wish the Switch felt and looked that good. But
It's
yeah,
crazy. I was thinking about this. I'm going on a tangent. I was thinking about this the other day that like there must be people because obviously I play my Switch with my Switch Pad Pros on them,
yeah, the Split Pro Pros,
and I'm
which
guessing
it's
you're
hard to
the
say quickly.
same.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if Penguil's played handheld, he would as well.
Yeah, I've
It's
got a pair of
mental to
Switch
me
Labs.
that people would just use normal Joy Cons because it must be so bad. It must be
Yeah.
such a like shit experience. You know what I
So
mean?
I've had to use Joy Cons for certain games because certain games require the gyro. And the
Right.
gyro, so like Mario Galaxy, the port of Mario Galaxy, for example, that's on the collection, uses gyro, and gyro's not in the standard Split Pad Pros. You have to buy this, like specific ones they are in, but you have the extra, right? So like you have to use the Joy-Cons, and the Joy-Con sticks are tiny and fragile, and
Oh yeah.
buttons are the face buttons are tiny and they're flat, and it's really uncomfortable. Like it's such, and for someone
Hey,
who's
like
got
it hurts
big,
my thumb using them.
right?
It's
Like
like
I've got big
it feels
hands.
too small.
It's just not comfortable, and like the Steam Deck is like a premium piece of kit compared, and it's like all the Switch 2 needs to be is the Steam Deck. Like honestly, it just needs to be as powerful and as comfortable as the Steam Deck, and it would be like okay, like I'll probably get one, but
You're gonna get one anyway.
oh yeah, I mean of
Yeah.
course I am, but like
Let's
you know what I
not
mean,
pretend.
like you know what I mean, like it's when I say get one, I mean like it's gonna be it's not going to be for just Nintendo games, because at the minute it's just for Nintendo games. You're not going to catch me playing a third-party release on the Switch, because why would I? Like, why? What reason would I have for playing a third-party game on the Switch? Any third-party game, like even games that you like, so like Overcooked. Like I'd rather play that on Xbox or PS5 and get achievements and trophies, and it will run better than I would playing it on Switch, where it would make the most sense, because you go, oh, it's a party game. It's not. It's like I'm taking a 9-hour flight at the end of next month with my partner. Like, we'll take the Switch because we'll want to play Mario Kart and Mario Party, but we're not going to take the Switch to play FIFA. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like it's just, it is, the parity is something that I really want Nintendo to do next time. And I don't want, like, and people go, oh well, I want it to be a PS5. Like, no, I don't want Nintendo to do that, because it's not what they're good at. I just want them to have enough power and comfort to keep making the games they make now, but make the ports more doable. That's all it's got to be. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, we know that games sell better on PS5 and Xbox when it's Call of Duty and when it's FIFA, but like, if I could play like Hogwarts and it be like an actually serviceable experience on Switch, then it might tempt me more than, well, actually, I'll get it on Steam Deck. You know, because that's kind of Steam Deck's role in the market, is the way I see it. Like, I'm surprised that Microsoft and even maybe Sony haven't yet started dipping back into handheld, because it's not. If you think you make a Series S powered handheld that's the form factor is the Steam Deck, that'll do well. You know what I mean? Like, it's not graphically that different. So, but that is
I
a hell.
I think for this, if they do another Switch as well, it's the load times as well. They need to have the like an SSD like load times as well.
Well, yeah, because that's
playing
what
Dress, you are dying a lot, and it
Yeah.
is like, oh, this is a thing, isn't it? Like waiting to load back in again. It's not like a massive amount of time,
No.
but when you're used to that like instantaneous,
Well, that's literally what the Steam Deck has,
jump
right?
back in.
It has the NVMe drive, like most of them do. So it's like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been, this Switch has been out for 6 years now, so like it's time. Like, next year we'll probably get something, and we'll have a podcast about that at the time. Obviously, will be the Steam Deck VR show by then, because I don't know what Craig's gonna do. Maybe if Microsoft brings back Holodeck, that'll be Craig's weird little niche. But that's a tangent for another day. So before we get to the main topic of the show, we've got to talk about everyone's favourite part of this show, and that is the Chris Pengelly show. So Chris has done so many videos on the channel about the PSVR 2 recently, and I thank everyone that has watched them and subscribed to us, because they've done really good numbers. So fair play. You will get a lot more from the biggest of dogs, and maybe even me, by the summer as well. But Chris, what have you been buying? What have you been playing in the run up to the PSVR 2 launch?
So I've currently bought nothing, or nothing that's turned up as of yet.
Not that you're bitter about that at all, by the way.
So bought nothing, and I've really only played 2 games, and that's Metroid Prime, which this is like the first time I've given it a proper go, because the sticks, as Craig mentioned, we can use the right stick to aim. And
Yeah, that game originally, Craig, just used the left stick, and you had to like stop.
aim with fire as well.
Yeah, you had to like stop to like aim.
Would it have been like on a controller that only had one stick like that?
The GameCube controller did have 2 sticks.
2 sticks.
Oh,
And it had triggers, and A button fire.
This sounds like Metroid Dread Penguins is what you're
Whereas now, Craig, it basically plays like Halo,
and
it feels like Halo, and it kind of looks like Halo, to be honest, but like good. Like, it's the best looking Halo game you've ever played, and that is an absolute roast on Halo Infinite, and I'll stand by it. I'll stand by it.
Yeah, so like that, I've just got to the mines, so I don't know how much I've got left to go. It's the first time I've unlocked this area, so it's a brand new area.
Have you had the fight against Ridley yet?
No.
Then you're not too far. You're about just over halfway.
Yeah, so I've
that's not a spoiler. You see Ridley in the first 10 minutes of the game. Everyone,
yeah,
fully say
it. Plus the game's I don't know how old. It's like 20 years old now, isn't it?
Came out in 2002.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in the mines to playing that. And then to give a little bit more than just playing, I've just been playing mine. I started this afternoon some Wanted Dead.
Okay, I've heard really mixed things about that game.
Yeah, it's similar, I guess, to Craig.
Did you buy this, or did you get a?
I got it through rental through Boomerang. Kind of like what Craig was saying with Shadow Warrior. Like the combat now is actually quite fun. I'm only in the first level. I don't know how long this first level is because it seems to be going quite a long time. The combat and that's quite fun. The dialogue and that is not fantastic, but it tends to go for like the B cheesiness of it. And on the menu is options for like mini games. Like there's a karaoke mini game, and I think it's like a bowling mini game and stuff like that, which I've not tried yet. So it does look very. From my played from the first level, like early 2000s sort of weird fun game. I'm getting like trying to think like. Well, I was gonna say Lollipop Chainsaw, but Lollipop Chainsaw is especially better than this. But that sort of vibe of game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Again, I've only like I'm partway through the first level, so I don't know how many levels there are because I think the game's only like 6-7 hours, and it seems to be going on quite a while. So there might only be like 4 or 5 levels, but all the silly mini games as well, which it kind of feels like it's copying a bit from like a Yakuza when you got like the karaoke stuff and all that sort of thing added in.
Okay. Is that all you've been playing, Chris?
Yeah, basically Prime, and I thought I'd play something else, give a little bit extra than just Prime on the podcast.
Nice. So before we get into the games of March, let's have a one more little chat with Chris about PSVR 2. So obviously we would expect by the next time we record a group video, we would imagine you will have the PSVR 2.
Hopefully, it's
Um,
just it's still saying prepare to ship, and it's still
yeah, so
saying
it's due
between the
by the 28th, right? It's like
yes.
so.
So it's not even
How
checked.
are you feeling going this? Obviously, you've done lots of stuff on the channel,
Yeah.
pushing it. Like you've been getting your code, you've been making your lists of what you want to play. So how are you feeling? Like where's your excitement levels at? Like what is like that game that you're like I can't wait to play? Like what are you feeling right now?
I'm I'm pretty excited for it, and surprisingly, it is a game I've actually bought, but it's not come. I'm actually really excited to play Gran Turismo, which might sound really weird,
Craig's pretty excited for you to play Gran Turismo as well, to be
but
honest.
from all the like trailers and stuff we've seen of it, it does look like the VR does add to like a standard game, if that makes sense, where you're actually in the cockpit and you're looking around and stuff, and like you can turn around, especially if you're driving like a roadster or something. You can look around and like there's no roof. The roof down, you can see all the other cars behind you. It does look like it does add to it, and it's a full game as well. So you got all the cups or whatever in the game. Where compared to like Kayak VR, which I hear is a graphical like showcase or like VR, it is gonna be like I'm in my kayak, I'm going down the lake, I'm looking around at scenery. That's more of an experience. Well, GT7 is more of a proper it is a proper full-fledged game because I believe you've actually played some of it.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
recently.
I've had it borrowed off my brother for like 6 months because he's just like I don't really want it. Do you want to borrow it? I was like okay. And it's a bastard to install, but I've been playing it more recently because they've patched quite a lot. It's a fun game. I don't. It's the problem if I think with Gran Turismo, it straddles the line of arcade sim, but it's very much on the sim side. Whereas
Mm,
Forza is very much on the arcade side, and I prefer that. I think it's more fun. But in terms of content and the way they've laid it out, like it's a pretty full on game now. Like they've added taken a lot of the stuff out people hate. They keep adding content. Like you said, tomorrow we've got the PSVR 2 patch, but it's not just that. It's like a classic tracks come back. There's 5 more cars, a load more events. They've kind of set the game up like it feels like Pokemon for cars, which sounds really funny, but like the structure, quote unquote, of the single player mode is like they do it in like this thing called menus, where it's like you basically get like a mini documentary about like 4-wheel drive Japanese cars from the 80s, and then you do races to win them. You get them in this little menu, and then like they tell you more about them. There's like this really cool like almost like museum piece about it, and then you move on to the next one where it'll be like, hey, like you need to do up this Mini Cooper to this level of, and they've basically copied the Forza thing for levels, which is so much easier than what it was before. And be like, hey, yeah, get your Mini to this, and then you can do the Sunday Cup, and then like this is reminiscent of this event that happened in 1964, blah 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 blah. And like it's if you're a car nut, I think it's really cool. Which is a really good way because I don't think the last couple of GTs were like that. They were more just like sterile. Um, so yeah, like I think it's a pretty good game now. Will you stick to it, Chris? It's in VR. I would doubt it, but like it might be one that's if you can get it for a good like 30 to 40 price. It's actually quite a doable platinum. It's just play the game a lot. Like it's for a Gran Turismo like Forza like game. The 100% completing it isn't too bad. But yes, yeah, it's a fun racing game.
Yes.
God, I was hoping you were going to add more to that, Chris, because I was literally trying not to choke myself to death. But moving on from games we've already played and for the VR, because there will be more VR, don't you worry.
Yes.
Craigo, I believe you have your trusty friend, the Game Informer games list, because we're going to talk about the games that are coming out in March.
Yes, in-game Informer we trust, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Until we don't, and you boys get annoyed because of stuff that's missing. Wow.
Obviously, I
yeah,
will.
Dave goes on the actual store and goes, "You've
Yeah,
missed."
well, you've missed classics like Rims. Remember Rims?
Mm-hmm.
What more do you need?
That'd be
But
great.
anyway,
Anyways, Rims aside.
March. On March 3rd, boys, and this is coming to everything, including the PS4. But not the Switch, actually. It's not coming to everything. That's a blatant lie.
You're a phony.
But it is coming to Game Pass. It's one that none of us really care about, but I only care about because it's hopefully going to get me points. It's Wulong Fallen Dynasty.
So you say that none of us care about it, Craig, but if it's got co-op, we're playing it for a video.
Yeah, and it's on Game Pass.
He's
You
on
know,
this. I have it
so you give
pre-installed.
it
I'm sure it'll be a short video of lots of swearing.
What a video it'll be, though. Be our best views.
As we can guarantee that's going to be a hard motherfucking
No,
game.
easy. Right? We're pro gamers, Craigo. You got to believe, man. You got to believe.
we
We need pro gamer Chris Mingay to carry us through that. Really.
Obviously.
That's when also Metroid Prime Remastered Physical comes out.
In Europe, yes, because they've been screwing us over for decades. Why stop now?
Yeah, that's not on the list, funnily enough.
No, but
should be on your list, Craigo. It should be on your list.
What Craigie can do is finish Dread, sell that on Dread like we've been selling stuff, Davey, and then buy Metroid Prime Remastered Physical.
You know what, Chris? When you're right, you're right.
There you go. The weird thing about that game as well is that's like a £30 release. Yeah.
Yeah, £34.
Yeah.
I've seen it for like 29.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's a
Yeah, that Kirby remaster's like a full price game,
and it's nowhere near as good or as like modern.
It's so strange.
Yeah, Nintendo man, and then they're like, "Hey, 70 for Zelda," and you're like, Metroid Prime is your third highest rated game of all time. You want 35? Okay.
But moving on from Metroid Prime and Wulong Fallen Dynasty, on March 6th, another one which I don't think any of us are going to care about, but it's got the word Castlevania in, so I'm going to say it's Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. Does this make either one of you want to actually go back and play Dead Cells?
No.
No, same.
Because
Isn't it a shitty roguelike?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Am I right, boys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only roguelikes that work
Fucking-
are golf ones, Craig. We talked about this last week.
Moving on to one that maybe Chris might be interested in. And this is coming to everything, including the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. On March 9th, that's Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse.
Wait,
Chris,
so the 7th of March, you missed Void Terrarium 2 for the PS4 and Nintendo Switch.
It's not even on the list.
Wow,
That's
shocking.
not good, Mass. That's shocking. NIS never get the credit they deserve.
The answer is no, Craig, to whatever question you asked.
Yeah, I was talking about Project Zero, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, which I believe is a remaster of the Wii one.
One of the
Which
Wii
might have
ones,
been-
yeah, I think.
Which might have been a remaster or retelling in itself. I'm keen and not keen because it's digital only and it's 40 quid. So if it goes on a sale, then I possibly might get it. But then I've not picked up Mid and Blackwater, and that's been on sale before. So
If it was half the price, it would be a game I'd recommend for Craig for the horror, but at that price, absolutely not.
yeah,
It's a shame because isn't this actually a new game as well? It's not just a.
No,
it's
it's
a
a
remake.
remake. Yeah, it's a remake.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
with a Wii game. Yeah.
They announced a new one, but God knows when that's coming.
Oh, okay. I got that very much confused
Yeah.
then. That's a shame. That's a real shame, isn't it? Moving on. And you can see where March is a bit of a barren wasteland, especially at the start, because I'm moving straight all the way on to March 14th, boys.
You see, also on the 9th, you just forgotten Monster Energy Supercross 6.
That's on the here yet, but I've not read it out for obvious
Ah.
reasons.
Right.
Oh,
Obviously, as
shame
well,
the Stadia's.
March the 8th, my birthday, which is the most important release of the year. So, just say.
Are you buying Monster Energy Supercross 6, Chris?
No, unfortunately, the Stadia's
5
now
is
dead.
actually on PS Plus, so I'll wait for that for 6 to come as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
What even? Oh, it's I see what it is. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up here, Chris.
If I get
And
a code, I'll
on,
play it.
and also on the 10th of March, yes, Masso Anomalies, I believe it's called, which is a JRPG.
That
Which
is
I've
coming
heard,
physical to Xbox, Craig. So you should have talked about it.
and I feel it has been this early access or something on Steam. Dave, obviously the Steam expert, can tell
Obviously.
us on that.
It's basically, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, B-Tech Persona.
Mm.
So you take that information with what you will, but it is physical on Xbox, so I will shout out for that. Up the
Yes.
Xbox.
That day also got some physical PSVR 2 games, which is always good.
We'll save that for,
Yeah.
I believe, your show, Chris. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to roll it back because I did just see that PSVR 2 before your eyes on March 10th. There you go, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris
Which
is
one I
Have you-
am actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one I am excited about seeing how it translates from PC using a webcam to playing it in PSVR with the eye tracking. So
Lovely stuff. But back to March 14th. I have no idea what this is, but I'm reading it out in hopes that you two do.
I'm
It's
guessing
the
it's going to be the
Legend
wreck.
of Heroes Trails to Azure.
that is the
Is-
series I've been playing, Craigo.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought I plucked this out of somewhere, Dave. Talk about
So
Legend of Zeros.
So the Legend of Zero sequel, Legends of Azure, which is the one that comes out, is supposedly the best one. So unfortunately, I am 5 games away from that. We'll get there in 2027. But yeah, it's good that these games are finally getting Western releases and finally getting the NIS do cool physical editions. Wish it was all coming to Xbox, obviously. But yeah, great game. You have to play Zero first, so love that.
So is this a new game or is this just a?
So it's not a new game. It's a new game to the West. It's a remake. It's a
Right.
re-release of a PSP game, I think. But like, they were never localized. So like, the other one came out in September for the first one in that arc, and this is this one. And then I believe there is one more game that came out in Japan that is a PS5 game before we catch up, I think. But there's like
there is
4
one
of them
after
coming
this.
this year.
This one and the last one are
Then
both
there's
like that.
Trails of
2D
Reverie,
art.
which is the more modern one. Then there is Mayuka, which comes out in September.
Mm.
They basically decided, Craig, that we've left all these games in Japan for too long, so let's release 6 in the next 12 months to catch up, and that is what we're now seeing.
Okay, so I'm sure we'll have another one in April, another one in May, another one. Yeah, just
You joke, but yeah, pretty much. They've all got dates and they've all been announced. You can pre-order them all.
We can look forward to that. Moving on to March 16th. Another one for Chris Bengelli. The Dark Pictures Switchback VR on PlayStation VR.
Yes, I am very keen on this one. We talked about it on the PlayStation podcast. Me and Dave did. The one issue with PSVR is there's not that many physical games announced and coming, and the prices, obviously, digital games like Horizon Call of the Mountain is £60. Dark Pictures is 34 quid, digital only, but then I just spent that on Metroid Prime. But then I know Metroid Prime's meant to be one of the best games ever made. Well, obviously, Dark Pictures, Switch Pack, a different story. So I'm not sure if I will take a punt or try to find some cheap vouchers or get a review code or something with it. But it is one I definitely want to try to play because it looks like the big March game as well for the PSVR 2.
Lovely stuff.
Obviously, that's a hard no for me if I were to get a PSVR 2 in the next whatever months. It's a horror game I ain't playing. It's a horror game where if you blink or you close your eyes, like a monster gets closer to you, Craig, and I'm not about that life.
Just don't blink.
Just fucking
your
wide
eyelid
open.
Stick
Yeah,
your eyelids to the headset or something.
that solves that problem. But the next day, Chris, coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch,
Yeah.
we have Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon.
That is
I don't think I
correct.
pictured that, have I?
No, you have not.
This is one that I think me and Dave said looks quite middling, but I think you're quite excited about, right?
I am excited about it. I have it pre-ordered. This is the only game I am 100% getting in March. Cannot wait for more Bayonetta. Even though it's completely different to the other Bayonettas, but I cannot wait for more Bayonetta.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hopefully it looks, hopefully it's better than it's shown. I guess is the
Yeah,
only thing I can
I'd love.
really say about it.
I'd like to be pleasantly surprised, but
Yeah,
it screams a 7 of me. Screams a 7.
yeah, definitely. Weirdly, Bayonetta 3. I was on just cycling through Amazon the other day, like you do. Bayonetta 3 is already only £30 on Switch. Like that's
Yeah,
surprising, isn't it? You don't see like new releases on Switch
it
go
didn't
down that
sell
cheap
well.
that fast.
Did
Which
not
is odd,
sell
no?
well.
Because it's a fairly big release for them. Isn't it?
Mm.
But also on March 17th, one which I'm sure is on all of our books, and that's WWE 2K 2023.
Oh,
The last
see,
one was actually good, right?
Yeah,
Weren't people really
they've
happy with the
they've
last one?
added a lot to GM mode in this, and I haven't watched enough of a deep dive on what they've added. But there was talk of being able to like basically make your own brand. So
Right,
like,
that sounds
I
good.
legitimately would be quite tempted if this were to have be a thing when I've got money and when I come back from America. Like, I might be tempted. I haven't bought a wrestling game in a while, and we still haven't heard anything about the AEW game. So
Yeah,
just
that poor AEW game,
Right.
Christ.
yeah, they just showed it off, didn't they, at FanFest? They just had a match, the Brian Page match. They did that in the game. It looks a bit rough still.
I love that AEW's like they're going to bring out a game out, and WWE's actually started putting effort into their
yeah, and they'll
games
put
now.
2 out before AEW comes out,
They're probably both going to end up being better.
right?
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like you say, this is one of those where, like, if it was on the Game Pass or something, this would be perfect, right? They could see us like playing a lot of it on Game Pass or something like that.
Mm.
Moving on to a bad game, boys. One for you, Pengy, though. On
Did
March
you
21st.
you missed the biggest release of the month on the 17th? Peppa Big World Adventures.
Hopefully that will come to Game Pass again as a Game Plus.
Mm.
It should be a place. It should really be an Xbox exclusive. To be fair, that's where the
Yeah.
Xbox. That's where the Peppa Pig fans are, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy completion, I think.
And there's
Alright.
actually a console port of that Anno 1800. Is that a Ubisoft like sim game? Coming.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I know there's
Yes.
like a big sort of PC series that's getting ported over.
Yeah, only to PS5 and the series consoles by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving last gen behind.
Yeah, but they're also bringing Settlers over, I think, as well. If you're keen on that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you are indeed. March 21st. On the Switch, Remnant from the Ashes, Pengy. This is a shit game, I can tell you right now.
See,
Yeah, I hated it.
a chap in work, he says it's really good, it's brilliant,
It's
and I
not.
should play
Chris,
it.
do
But,
not let anyone tell you this game is good.
yeah.
Please. It's not good. It's bloody awful.
Mm.
I don't know if I actually got one achievement on this, Dave, when we played it. I feel like I did. I think it's stuck on my fucking
I
game account
don't
now.
think we did. I think that was Ashen that you're thinking of. There was also shit.
Oh, yeah, that was fucking terrible. That's
Mhm.
dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
But the next day, another Switch exclusive for you, Chris. And that's Have a Nice Death. I have no idea what this is.
It's actually been out quite well on PC in early access. And I remember in the D-Number Fantasy Credit, Smurf tried to get it, and then he realised he couldn't because it had already been out in early access. Especially, I think it's like a roguelike Metroidvania thing. So those words out of my mouth of roguelike put me completely off the game.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Am I right?
That's a no from Dave.
Hell yeah. But Dave, I'll tell you what won't be a no from you. And this is coming the next day on March 23rd. And this is, I mean, Chris has said that Bayonetta is the biggest release or whatever. But this is the real biggest release, if you know. And that's Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemists of the End of the and the Secret Key, which is just a name that flows off the tongue.
Mhm.
I mean,
How excited are you for this, Dave?
it's probably going to be a great game, but I would be foolish to play it before I completed the previous two Atelier Ryza games, Craig.
Which probably came out in January and February. The way they pump these fucking games.
Well,
Out,
they
right?
also did announce in July you're going to get the remake of the original Atelier game that was not shown at the Western Switch thing for some reason, but it is indeed coming west.
Yeah, and the deluxe of I don't know on Switch, but on PlayStation at least, the deluxe edition also comes with the original PS1 version, so you can have the original and the remaster.
But you can't, Craig, because it's not coming to Xbox. So
No.
I'm good.
I know.
I'm pretty sure you have this on Fantasy Credit, don't you, Dave? So you hope
Oh
you
yeah, I mean I'm not a
disappoint
fool. It's easy points, right?
No, there's
Yeah.
80 something
It's
points.
the most
and
nailed on points you've ever seen in your life.
and they've gone up every release since Atelier Ryza 1 has gone up in points, so
Hell,
could be better than Sophie. I think it was Sophie that was last. So
they are great. I mean, we joke, but they are renowned for being very fun, good JRPGs, with a little bit too much fan service for me.
Yeah, I was about to say they look very
Lots of
anime.
big old titties, but like it's supposed to be good. They're supposed to be fun ass good games. So again, credit was due.
Yeah, there's an audience out there, and I'm sure Chris will pick it up at some point.
Absolutely.
no, because I still not even played the second.
When you get to that, and you're blown away by it, I'm sure.
Mm.
But moving on to March 24th, from our big friends at EA, we have EA Sports PGA Tour.
It's
Back making golf games, aren't they?
the return, Craigo. They lost Tiger to 2K, and apparently that game sold awfully.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they were just expecting a bit much of it, but I mean they put Michael Jordan in it, Craig. So, but yes, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, and this sounds crazy, I actually legitimately trust EA at the moment, so I think it's going to be pretty good. Like, I mean, even like so their biggest bomb in the last year has been Need for Speed because it didn't sell very well. It's reviewed really well and people love it, so it's like, I reckon PGA coming back will be good. It's been a few years.
Yeah, I got faith. This is one that like, I'm definitely not going to buy this. But, EA Play in 6 months' time or whatever it is that it terms. Yeah, I can see me loading this up. I like the old golf games. But on the same day, boys, and this is one that's definite play, and probably the only game from this list of games that I've read up, which should definitely be day one, definitely be bought for me, and that is Resident Evil 4 remake. I know this is the bridge that Chris Mingo is dying on, that we shouldn't have a remake of this game, so he won't be buying it.
And I'm a coward, so I won't buy it.
Yes. But I'll be whatever.
I'm interested what the VR mode is that they've totally been quiet on since they literally announced it and not mentioned it ever since. So
it will come eventually, I'm sure. They always do VR for those games now, don't they? So
yeah, but the two that they've done VR on, which is 7 and Village, are obviously both first person. When this is the over the shoulder third person. And like I said, it was in one trailer, and it's just a black screen that came up and said like in development for PlayStation 2 or PSVR 2 as well, and that's it. There's not been like a murmur since, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a PSVR 2 mode coming for this.
yeah, I could see that happening, definitely. But yeah, definite for me, and it was my number one pick on the Fantasy Critic. So hopefully, points.
God, yeah.
And then skipping on, boys, to March 28th. And this is one that I'm sure we're all excited for. And that's Crime Boss Rock City.
This has been
Is that this
panned.
month? I thought that was ages away.
Oh, it's been panned in previews.
Is it
This
actually
one.
coming out, or is Game
Isn't this the one? Isn't this the one with all the like celebrities in it?
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
one that I swear like no one's actually
Yeah,
seen
like
this game.
there was a
Yeah,
preview
apparently it's
last
coming out
month. And
28th of March.
there was a preview last month, and people were like, "Oh, people are annoyed." So
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
I saw.
it's not going to be good. Love
I
it.
swear they've still actually shown nothing, like other than obviously cutscenes.
Yeah, but that's
I
the whole
couldn't-
point of the game, isn't it? That's the sad thing. The whole point is all that shenanigans.
So yeah, I'm fascinated to see what this ends up with. Oh, there is actual gameplay out there if you hunt it down. Looks, yeah, it's a first-person shooter. Say that.
God.
Interesting.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm fascinated to see what shenanigans that turns out to be. On the same day, big one for Chris, MLB The Show 23. You big baseball man, Chris. You going to be all over that?
I will not be all over that.
It's a shame.
I might give it a try. Oh, it's on Game Pass. Obviously, love the Mariners because they're used to be owned by Nintendo and now are minority owned by Nintendo, Craig. But yeah, I just continually love that the Sony published, Sony developed baseball game gets to come to Game Pass every year, but doesn't come to Plus. So don't know how
Are they not
that's a
doing
thing.
Plus?
No, none of it. They are
Oh.
full price on PlayStation.
Mhm.
They have all three of the ones that have been on
that's
Plus. How weird is that?
that's such a weird.
That's like
rough look for
that'd
them.
be like Minecraft coming to PS Plus, but being full price on Xbox. Like that's
Yeah,
that.
if
Like it's so weird.
Minecraft Legends comes out, and you're right, yeah, it wasn't on Game Pass. That would be, yeah, that's
So
that's
strange.
bizarre,
But yeah,
isn't it?
always the best baseball game. Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so it's worth
Yeah,
a
you
try.
sure it's not WBSC
Uh,
E baseball?
No
Pro
platinum, Chris. So
Gross.
no, it's not.
No.
And then one for you, Dave, on your Steam Deck. On the same day, March 28th, you get The Last of Us Part 1. You gonna be all over that?
Well, considering as Returnal sold half as well as Sony's last port, I can only imagine how well that'll do. I mean, to be honest, we joke, Last of Us will sell really well because of the TV show,
Yeah.
but absolutely not, Craig. I stand by that. I dislike the gameplay of that game, and the story is predictable. So
That's a shame, right? It's a real
Mm.
shame. And then the
It'd
last
be
one.
interesting how that runs on Steam Deck.
it'll
like
run
butter, I'm
fine.
sure.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
But yeah, but Returnal I've heard is a bit iffy on Deck.
Yeah, but Returnal is quite effects heavy,
Mm.
whereas I feel like Last of Us is a bit more linear, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've just realised I've mugged you off as well, Chris. So I was going to end it on a VR game on March 31st, which is Cosmonius High, but it's only listing for the Quest, so you couldn't care less, could you?
Nah. And it's actually coming out on launch on PSVR 2, so yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Mm.
Is it not one on the list? I'm guessing.
Not really. It's from the guys that did Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator, and I wasn't that keen on Job Simulator, so.
It's a shame. It's a real shame. Oh yeah, it does say you can click into it. It's on PSVR too. So yeah, it's a strange month, March. Not a lot of big stuff
So I'm trying
for
to
a lot
think
of
if there's
us.
anything else you
I
missed. The
doubt it.
physical front mission coming. Sifu's coming to Xbox a physical if you're keen on that, and
Great game.
that is about it.
I
So,
suppose
yeah.
the last bit to work, because obviously we're filming this in the middle of February, so there is still February games coming. Obviously we've got Ishin is coming this week, Craig. How are you feeling as you're the resident Yakuza guy?
Oh, it's not got English dubs, so not keen.
Not keen. I'm going to play the demo.
Dubs.
I'm going to play the demo because I like the setting and the mini games look fun, and that's kind of my favorite thing about Yakuza, anyway, is the mini games. What else we got coming? There must be other games coming, Craig. Obviously we got the
You got
VR
Kirby.
games. We got Kirby, yeah. Oh god.
You got Octopath Traveler
Where are
2.
we? We're on the 20th. So we have Dave. Oh, we've got a load of obviously PSVR stuff that Chris has talked about. I am skipping through all of that. God, there's so much to scroll through. Yeah, we got Company of Heroes 3 comes out on the 23rd, which would be points for Dave on the Fantasy Critic, obviously.
Absolutely.
Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe on the Switch on the 24th. Octopath on the 24th. Destiny 2 Lightfall, is that the new expansion?
Yeah,
Is that what that
the new
is?
expansion.
That's
Yeah.
Chris's.
God, that's good for those weird people that still somehow play that awful game. And then you got Scars Above on the 28th.
Which that's either going to be decent or awful. It's either going to be like an 8 or like a 5.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
gonna be
like the
this.
5 might be the more where you're going with that. Yeah,
But it's good. Yeah, I can see it being like all surprise hidden gem from like this sort of indie dev.
Yeah.
So this month is very much PSVR 2 month from now on. I think that's probably
Yeah.
fair to say. So Very interested for Chris's opinion of Call of the Mountain. That's probably one of the ones I'm most. And obviously for me,
Octopath, though,
like,
is a pretty big one. No, I feel.
it's reviewing well,
Mm.
which is crazy, to be
Mm.
honest. But it's like, I don't know. I'm. It's I'm not fussed. I mean, the first one was fun, but it wasn't that fun.
Yeah, and Craig missed. You say couple of heroes can get you points, but Redemption Reapers will get me points on Fantasy Critic as well, which is out on
Company
23rd. I
Heroes
think.
already has reviews as well. It's got an 81 so far for you, Davey. So it's a solid 11 points.
Which is kind of, if you look at the way my fantasy thing has been tracking, I'm hitting solid 81s all around at the moment, which I'll take.
If every game gets 80, you win, don't you?
Yeah, it's just
Basically.
Deliver Us to Mars letting me down with the -3 at the minute, which is quite. I'm glad Atomic Heart has pulled some reviews back. Didn't think that Hogwarts was going to be my best reviewed game so far.
No,
though.
what a fucking plug
One
that
of you,
was
one
from
of
you,
you
Dave.
almost counted that as well, if I remember rightly. I know that was on the
Yeah,
kind of
I
the
almost did that.
discussions.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame you didn't, Pinky. But yeah, that's the game that's really chugging you along. I mean, it's got a huge counter pick percentage. I'm looking now; it's got 38% counter
Yeah,
pick. So a lot of
'cause
people got fucked over by that, which is
Craig needs to
funny.
make a decision soon as well on the counter pick because you've still got one to do.
Oh, I got ages, Dave. Got ages left.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking actually mine are going to be pretty solid. I've still got Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, and Street Fighter 6 as the big hitters to go. So
Yeah, obviously, Peggy needs some games to actually come out. It's
Yeah,
there's
my
not a
one
lot of
and
dates looking at yours, Peggy. It's
yeah, my one and only game has got me 11
I
points.
cannot wait for Silk Song to come out.
yes, and then not to announce it, and you get fucked over like I did.
In
2
Final
years in a
Fantasy,
row.
exactly the same.
That'd be Phil Spencer. I will send him a mean tweet. I'm like, you told me it'd be out before June. You owe me 11 points.
And
or
he'll be
20
like,
points or
Chris,
whatever.
you've betrayed me too many times for me to care.
Yes, you rat bastard, Chris Bengelli. You got what you can. Yeah.
But yes, well, that is the show. Thank you for all your lovely updates, boys. And yeah, so I would expect some significant VR2 footage from the biggest of dogs over the next few weeks. If you want to see just just tell us what you want. Really, I think is the Gamescast is going to be definitely more topical as we go on this year. I just think there's just there's a bigger spread of what we're playing, so I think that's just a more interesting way to do it. So, if there's a topic you want us to talk about, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know you got this far by writing Badger in the comments. If you got this far, I want to see badgers in the comments. There'll be not a single badger. I mean, not even us. I'm not going to watch it again. But
there wasn't a Half-Life Alex in our PlayStation
right.
1.
No one cares. No one cares.
I don't know how because you can look at the average view time, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to just harass you, which is like my favorite thing.
Yeah, but I haven't bought anything. So waiting until next episode.
Well, yeah, next enough. I'm looking forward to Chris for Craig doing the tally of prices next episode. That's going to be. Oh, Craig might have to need 2 calculators for how much money you will have spent.
Yes.
So it should just be a segment of the show every week, doesn't it? Chris Bengelli's poor life decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say 'em, you'll make 'em.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.